Now inside the first full segment of the SportsMax Zone for this Friday, 15 wickets fell for 221 runs on day 2 of the first test as India inched ahead of Australia at the Adelaide Oval. India, who were dismissed for 244 in their first innings, hit back to bowl Australia out for 191. They then closed on 9 for 1, an overall lead of 6-2. Ricardo Chambers has our day 2 wrap.
India resuming day 2 on 233 for 6 in their first innings. Australia quickly wrapping up the tail. Left armer Mitchell Starc and Pat Cummins claiming 2 each as the Indians added a mere 11 runs.
Oh, straight up in the air. It's a golden duck for Shemi. It's a perfect start for the Australians. A demolition job here in the first session at the Adelaide Oval, day 2.
Starc with 4 for 53 and Cummins 3 for 48, ending pick of the Aussie bowlers. But the India attack also had tricks up their sleeves, quickly digging into the Aussie top order. Matthew Wade, Joe Burns, and the big wicket of Steve Smith.
It's gone! And it's Steve Smith as well, Ravi Ashwin.
All with just 45 runs on the board. That was just the start of a fine spell by Ravi Ashwin, the off spinner accounting for Travis Head for 7, an easy return catch at 65 for 4. Then 21-year-old Cameron Green, a 55 average in first-class cricket, but only 11 on test debut. Kohli with a super catch. Australia reeling at 5 for 79. Marnus Labuschagne survived 3 chances and had an out decision overturned, but his luck ran out on 47 despite one final attempt at batting on. The DRS system showing all red. Australia in the red, 6 for 111. The captain Tim Payne batted well, the little right-hander striking 10 fours in his unbeaten knock of 73, his 8th test half-century.
A very, very important 50, his 8th in test match cricket.
Not enough support though, as the Indians never let up. Australia eventually bowled out for 191 in the 73rd over. Ashwin ending pick of the bowlers with 4 for 55, Umesh Yadav 3 for 40 and Jasprit Bumrah 2 for 52, also among the wickets. With a first innings lead of 53, India were hoping to see off the day's final 6 overs unscathed, but the world's top-ranked bowler Pat Cummins once again had the formula for Prithvi Shaw's wicket.
Paddy Cummins, so often the man for Australia.
India closing at 9 for 1, the overall lead 6-2, and setting up a potentially riveting finish over the weekend.
Gripping test match cricket shown live on SportsMax nightly. Now, Pat Cummins, who has so far taken 4 wickets in the match, spoke to commentators at the end of the day that belonged to the Bowlers Union.
Oh, hopefully tomorrow's much the same. Yeah, one of those days. I mean, glad to get a quick bowl at night and get that 1 wicket, but yeah, pink ball things happen quickly, don't they?
The wicket of Prithvi Shaw, mate, congratulations. Similar to the dismissal in the first innings.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, just try and get it around the top of off and hope it nips either way, so happy that one nipped back in.
Yeah, so a gripping test match. The bowlers on top here. The Aussies replying to 244, only successful in making 191. And the Indian bowlers doing really well there to get first innings advantage that they would like to consolidate. Wayne and George, we discussed yesterday the fact that the performance of the Indian batsmen against very, very steady Australian bowling would have been critical. They weren't able to do much on the, on the second day. They added only a further 25 runs, losing 4 wickets. Added 11 runs, I think, losing 4 wickets and facing 25 balls. So there wasn't much resistance from the tail end, but certainly the bowlers did a great job, didn't they?
Okay, I'll go first again. Well, first thing, I used the word shocking, the way Australia responded. Yes, they mapped up the tail pretty quickly because India were down 6 wickets and they got them quickly. So they got that out of the way. I thought that now is pitch getting nice and flatter and more even bounce and so on that they would have capitalized on it. It's obvious that they are missing David Warner. Right, because at the top of the order they looked real shaky. And the Australians already. Tim Payne under tremendous pressure. He's the captain. Unbeaten 73 at the end. He was under pressure because he has been scoring a lot of runs, even though the Australian team are doing well. Labuschagne, I think, also struggled badly. He was dropped twice. One of the catches I thought was pretty ordinary the way he was dropped at square leg, attempting a hook shot. But they fought through it and they got 191. I mean, there was a debutant in the team as well. He got not a lot of runs. Green is his name?
Yes.
Right. But outside of that, they really didn't bat well. Ashwin, I thought, bowled really, really exceptionally. Asked questions throughout. We know that the Australians, it is felt that they don't bat off spin very well, and he really exploited them and really bamboozled them at one stage. They were even asking him, shouldn't he try to adopt the style of Nathan Lyon, the off spinner from Australia, who is considered maybe the greatest off spinner ever played for Australia. But Lyon has played what? Niles, is it Lyon? Lyon, sorry. Yeah. He has played 25 more test matches than Ashwin, and Ashwin has 369 test wickets and he had 390, just a difference of 21. So that tells you how prolific he has been outside, I mean, in India, and of course now outside of India. So therefore it's good to see that the Indians really made such inroads so easily in the Australian batting lineup. I can't imagine that they're going to bat poorly in both innings, and I'm expecting that even Smith, I know I'm being long, but Smith batted 29 balls for just 1 run that he scored. He really looked out of sorts. So kudos to the Indians in their first innings. They'll have to bat well in their second innings to ensure that they get a sizable lead, because I know the Australian team, they're going to come back firing in their second innings.
There's a question I want to ask, Wayne, but let me just put this out there first. But because yesterday I made a point about bowling to a plan and using the skill set of the bowlers you have to execute that plan, and there's nothing like watching from the pavilion or from TV land and seeing what the bowlers are trying to do. We saw that with the Aussies, and we definitely saw that with the Indians. Bumrah's bouncer barrage, I'm going to call it, was really, really disrupted the rhythm of the batsmen, and they were thinking of survival. They weren't quite sure. You mentioned the pitch perhaps playing better, Wayne. I'm sure the batsmen would have expected the pitch to play better as well. But the devils that Bumrah was coaxing out of the pitch was clearly an indicator that, yeah, the track would not be conducive to free and fluent batting. So I credit Bumrah, even as you credit Ashwin for his success. I want to ask you though, Wayne, as a former top batsman, Prithvi Shaw, and the way that he has been dismissed twice in this game, he's only bat twice. The ball that nips in, and the first innings, I think he got an inside edge, very thin inside edge, onto middle stump. Didn't find the inside edge at all on the second day, late in the second day. And I want to ask you to tell the viewers, how do you counter that? What perhaps Prithvi Shaw could adjust going forward, because it's clear what the plan for him is from the Australian fast bowlers. What would you adjust? What would you guide him to do to counter that movement of the ball?
Well, first thing he has to appreciate the fact that he's in Australia. It's some more bouncy pitches. It's not those flat tracks in India, and therefore he needs to get closer to the ball, and therefore he needs to keep his eyes on the ball, because that ball is coming from outside the off stump, going through is breaching his defense. That tells you that he's slow on the ball because he's being beaten for pace, right? And he's not covering us off stump. It is said that when you're a frontline batsman, you should never continuously be out bowled. Nick you down to the slip or somewhere, LBW, you should be out bowled twice like that. That ball coming from outside the off stump, going through the gate and cleaning them up. That means that there's something with his technique that he needs to work out. He needs to get closer to the ball, bat and pad closer together, because there's a gap between his bat and his pad, and that's where the ball is going through.
So am I hearing you saying two things? And I just wanted to take time for those of us who have never batted and can't bat and want to know. You say, so I hear you clearly on bat and pad being too far apart, and you say keep that tighter and he'll have a better chance. When you say get closer to the ball, how does he do that physically? What should he do?
His bat is not moving his left foot enough, and therefore he's maybe pushing his left foot down the track rather than coming across to measure up to the ball.
Oh, so rather than going this way, he's going that way.
Right, his foot is just going down the track, and his bat is out here, and the ball is coming through. So he needs to get his left foot across a little more, closer to the ball, to disturb that ball coming back in from outside the off stump, because obviously the ball is coming back from outside the off stump, and he's leaving a wide gap between his bat and pad, and that's exactly where the ball is going.
And Lance, you're a championship winning batsman at high school, a cricketer at high school. You know that the difficulty now arises when the ball starts moving the other way. So you make that adjustment for the ball that's coming in, and then the ball starts moving it the other way.
The movement of the feet is key, as Wayne just pointed out. He's got to get the left front foot, closer to the ball. And as Wayne pointed out as well, he played a little bit late. That was also part. So he has to be a little earlier into the stroke, and that would sort of counter the movement of the ball.
Theory on that. But guess what? Day 3 is later on SportsMax, starting what time, Lance? 11 p.m.
11 p.m.
in Jamaica.
Right.
Midnight outside. It's third day's cricket. It's fantastic cricket. If you've missed the first 2 days, shame on you. You shouldn't miss day 3. Watch it on your Home of Champions.